When we started Gradvine, the MEM applicant was rare. You'd find one among five or maybe one among four at best. Back then, students who were applying for an engineering management degree were seen as people applying for something niche and oftentimes looked down upon because they're not sticking to their core. But over the last 6 or 7 years, we've seen a tremendous boom in the number of engineering management applicants. We've also seen a great deal of demand for engineering management grads, and MEM grads are seeing fantastic salaries at this point in the United States. Now, what has happened in the last 7 or 8 years that has seen MEM unquestionably become one of the most promising master's programs for people looking to grow their careers in the US? Here's my explanation, and it's perfectly rational. There are several factors that have made the MEM such a good and popular option at this point in time. And the number one most important factor is the rise of the product manager. Today, everything that we use is a product, whether it's a food delivery app or an OTT streaming platform or so much other software that you use on your computers for work. The rise of these products has seen the rise of product managers in recent years, and the engineering management degree is perfectly tailored to give you that product management education. Therefore, salaries are higher, companies have been hiring, and therefore engineering management grads naturally have seen a lot of demand in the job market. Product managers are seeing starting salaries of $100,000 to $120,000 on average. It may vary a little bit depending on the university, but by and large, there is demand. Now, product management is not an engineering management exclusive thing. Even computer science grads, after they worked for a few years previously, would graduate into some sort of a product management or product leadership role. The engineering management program offers you that accelerator to break into those roles a little quicker rather than going through the natural progression. Now, of course, product management jobs reached an absolute peak in 2021 and 2022 immediately after the pandemic, and it has certainly come down now. But the need for this role is steady, and at this point in time, if you do have the aptitude and the communication skills to succeed in that role, there is demand for you. If you're finding this information useful, then you can speak to my team one-on-one by scheduling a free consultation call using the link in the description. Alternatively, we have groups for the MEM, MSCS, and a whole variety of different master's programs across the world. And you can join these WhatsApp groups for absolutely free and interact with our team. Join us today. Now, there's another area that sees a lot of demand in terms of employment, and that is in the area of operations and supply chain management. This is an area in the US that has been steady for a while now, and the engineering management degree again lends you this sort of an education from a select few schools. Hence, if you're a mechanical, civil, chemical engineer trying to break into this sector, the engineering management degree lends you fantastic job opportunities overall with some great pay. The MEM is essentially serving the purpose of what an MBA used to a few years ago. This point, in fact, brings me to the next point. The MEM is largely being viewed as an alternative to an MBA. If you are looking at roles within the tech sector, whether it's as a technology consultant, an operations manager, a supply chain manager, or a product manager, an MEM oftentimes makes much more sense than an MBA because you get done with the degree at a much lower cost, and traditionally the delta on starting salaries has not been significant. Now, of course, if you go out and search for the average starting salaries of an MBA versus an MEM, there will be a significant delta, but that data is not completely transparent because you have to understand that the average MBA grad has 5 to 6 years of prior work experience, whereas an MEM grad can be a fresher to up to maybe on an average 2 to 3 years of work experience. Eventually, at the same stage in their careers, MEM and MBA grads tend to make the same amount. What is important is the university that you go to, and that takes me into my next point about the universities offering the MEM. Around 6 or 7 years ago, there were hardly 4 or 5 great engineering management programs, but today there are a lot of top tier schools that offer them. Look at Ivy League universities like Dartmouth, Cornell, and Columbia. You can look at top tier tech schools like a Texas A&M, Purdue, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and Duke. All of them are offering fantastic engineering management programs with very strong placement statistics over the recent years. If there's one thing that ensures you have a wide pool of job opportunities in the US is that you do a STEM designated program from a top tier school, and the engineering management offers that. Now, the next point doesn't have to do with the future prospects and the job opportunities. It has more to do with the genuine desires of the typical Indian engineering student. Now, most Indian engineers, unless they're very interested in their area, try to shift out of it. Right? We decide that engineering is not for me and I'm trying to look at something else. Automatically, people think about MBAs, but then they don't have the required work experience, and they want to get into something more managerial because that's where they think they find the appeal. And the engineering management degree just sits there as an offering that is very, very compelling at this point in time because it offers a secure future. Now, I'm not saying that this should be the basis of your decision making to do an engineering management degree. Genuinely try and understand whether the roles that the degree takes you to are something that you find compelling. If you're able to look beyond and find a true interest, then you can absolutely go for the engineering management degree, because the days of people saying that you have to do a master's in computer science or your core engineering to get a job abroad are gone. People are looking for interdisciplinary managers for sure at this point in time. In fact, this is pointed out by the placement statistics from some of the top engineering management programs in a very, very challenging US job market. Places like Dartmouth College have had 100% placement or something close to it, with fantastic starting salaries of $128,000. Plus, Purdue and Johns Hopkins have also reported near 100% offers in terms of internships and full time for their graduates. And a lot of the other top MEM programs are doing well, except the ones with exceptionally large classes. On the contrary, some CS grads have been struggling from even some top universities. Now, that being said, I'm never going to argue that the average MEM grad will see more opportunities than a master's in computer science or a field that is as much in demand. You'll have to understand that you have to find your true calling and pick the degree that makes sense for you. And that's the only way you're going to be able to tackle the job search and the very stringent interview processes that a lot of these companies have. Therefore, in conclusion, there is demand and opportunities provided you have the interest and aptitude for it. It's up to you to understand that, and don't fear judgment or the fact that you're looking at some sort of a new degree. Considering the way the job market is in the United States at this point in time, the engineering management degree is here to stay, and for good reason.